And the first one I'm going to look at is where we used actually a GLA Breathe London monitor to better understand what impact school run traffic was having on the streets in our area in terms of pollution. I'm not going to jump into it just yet because I just wanted to ask everyone. I would like to kind of get people's thoughts on this. So what we did was we looked at the air pollution between 7 and 10 a.m. On a very busy road near us, around a very busy junction, and we correlated it between school term time and holidays. So we kind of tried to understand how much is the pollution going up in school term time versus school holidays. And I just wanted to sort of get a sounding board of what people might guess. So do we think that it was like an increase of nitrogen dioxide of 10% or 15% or any guesses? Don't be shy, Maddie.
I was like, oh, luckily
You've
Jenna's
seen the
beat me to
slide.
it. Jenna says 30%. I was gonna
Okay.
go in and say, oh, I feel it's gonna be ridiculous. I was gonna be like 120%, but
Oh,
maybe that's way off.
okay. Well, a solid range, basically. So, okay, so to go into the guide, what we saw around Herne Hill Junction in southeast London, sorry, was between 7 and 10 a.m. Those hours is the data range that we correlated. When we looked at the school impact of the school run traffic, we saw an increase of 47% in nitrogen dioxide, 22% increase in particulate matter. And the other data that we looked at was bus journey times, because how quickly a bus is moving gives you an indication of how congested a road is. So we got that data from Transport for London for that road, and we looked at that as well, and we saw that buses their journey times increased by 50%. So if you're traveling on a bus during school term time, you're going to go much slower through that junction than in holidays. And that is obviously because there's so much traffic on the road, so much congestion, and that is giving off a lot of pollution. And we actually saw this kind of crazy statistic where like school children would have to walk to school at 4 a.m. in the term time to enjoy air as clean as like that we saw during the school holidays. So it was a really interesting piece of work for us because we have lived this for 5 or 6 years. It's such a busy junction, and we've got so many schools in the area that we know see this observationally so clearly. You could time it like clockworks. When some of the private schools start to break up and then the state schools break up, you could just see the roads clearing. But we'd never really been able to, that's just kind of anecdotal, really, what we saw. And it was very powerful to see this in the data and in the air pollution data. So we released a press release on it, which actually got picked up by The Guardian. It got picked up by quite a lot of national news. So yeah, it was it was personally a very kind of validating a case study piece of work to work on. And I think we got so many incoming emails saying, well, just the school run near me is awful and it creates so much traffic, and it's so good to kind of see a better understanding of it. So I think it's a really exciting example of not only better understanding what's causing air pollution, which is obviously in this case and probably around a lot of London junctions and busy areas the school run, but also just a really interesting way of using some of these air pollution sensors that are now really widely available. And yeah, we'd actually love to kind of maybe do this with more sites. So we're kind of thinking about that over the next year. So if that is something that you might want to get involved with or kind of have your area included on, then just do drop us an email. So that is available on our website. The write-up and the press release and kind of how we did that analysis is available there as well. And I can send maybe a more specific link to Maddie to share, so it's kind of a bit easier to find after this. So that was our first, in fact, not the first time we'd used an air pollution monitor, but that was one of the sort of the first case study to talk through. And that's what we did, is solve the school run.